What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Hope each of you are well and blessed. Happy Sunday. It's not just any Sunday. This is Palm Sunday. This initiates Holy Week. Want to salute each of you guys and gals out there. Hopefully, everyone is feeling good. And we are here once again in the village, getting ready for another amazing, exciting episode of Village Chat. Before we get in there, I know there are many of you all who are participants in the present 48 turn up session. Many of you are graduates you've been through before. We got elite folks who are here on this evening. We got leadership, coaches. We have individuals who graduated in previous classes, or we got family members, friends, or individuals who want to be a part of the world's greatest transformational process. Regardless of which group you are a part of, I want to welcome you here on today. We are excited about this particular opportunity. We're excited about what we are experiencing as a group, and you guys will hear more about that a bit later. I'm Dr. Joe, the host. I'm the author and the founder of the world's greatest transformational process, the 4-Day Turn Up and the Journey 3.0 Plus process. These processes started with me when I was in my late 20s. I was 330 pounds. I began to study nutrition, holistic medicine. I was typical person, tried every diet, nothing worked. Everything worked until it didn't. And I started taking what I learned, applying it on myself, and what I learned in my transformation, how a lot of my issues were spiritually related, emotionally related. I really learned that it wasn't about the actual diet or program, for lack of better words, but it was more so about me. And when I kind of learned that, it made all the difference in the world. And I've had the opportunity to work with thousands of people. We went virtual at the top of 2020, and we've had 3 classes per year since that time. So we are, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Wow, we are at the end of this year, we would have had 15 cohorts to have come through the process. Last year alone, we worked with probably about 9,000 people. We're probably on course to do that, if not more, currently. So we're excited about that, excited about the lives that we've been able to impact. We'll talk more about that post-interview. Village Chat, which is why you are here, is a time for us to spotlight our participants. Sometimes they can be actual participants of the 4-Day Turn Up. We can have leaders. And in this particular session, we've got a 40-day Turn Up e-leader. You're going to hear all about that. You're going to hear the differences, and we are just excited. So it's nothing too heavy. We're just going to have a conversation, and I want to introduce to some and present to others my very, very special guest, Miss Lisa Curry. How you doing, Miss Lisa?
Hi, good evening, Dr. Joe. Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I see you in your Easter colors already. They
You.
look great. How you feeling this Palm Sunday?
I'm feeling really well, and I'm just so excited to be here and be a part of the Village Chat. So, thank you so much again for the invitation.
Well, thank you for accepting. And I don't know, but you got a fan base in the comment section. I don't know, you got a whole. I'm assuming you're somewhere from Texas, but we're gonna find out about that. So let's go ahead and jump in. Tell us something about yourself, where you're from, and where you live.
So, yes, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I was born and raised here. So, I've been here all my life. I have 2 titles that I'm very proud of. That is mother and wife. And so my husband and I have 1 son and 2 stepdaughters.
Okay.
So I'm just excited again to just be a part of this conversation today.
Well, being a mother and being a wife are 2 great things. So salute to your family, your husband, and your children. That is awesome. So born and raised in Texas,
Yes,
Dallas, right?
Dallas, Texas.
All right. Now you hear Dallas and Fort Worth. A lot of people think it's the same. Is it different? Tell us about that.
Yeah, culturally, Dallas is kind of, a lot going on with a lot of events, a lot of, we have the sports teams, we have the Mavericks, we have the Cowboys, we have the Dallas Stars. I don't want to leave anybody out, but we have a lot of sports teams. We have a lot of events going on. And Fort Worth, in my opinion, and actually, I'm a graduate of Texas Christian University in Fort Worth, so I did spend 4 years there.
Mhm.
And what I noticed was just a little slower pace. Nothing against Fort Worth. It's a great city.
Mhm.
Just a little slower pace. And Dallas is, in my opinion, just a little more,
Yeah,
more going on.
I
So.
got you. I understand. Okay, well, talk to us about what you do. What is your vocation? What type of work are you into, or what's a day for you?
Okay, so glad you asked that. I actually just retired in August.
Okay.
And so prior to that, I was with the Dallas Independent School District for 32 years. And I started my career as a substitute teacher and really enjoyed that and really found a love and a passion for that. Then I became a teacher, and then I became a reading coach. Then I became an assistant principal, a principal, and then um, a few years before I retired as an executive director, which meant that I was given the privilege and opportunity to serve as a principal supervisor for, at the time of my retirement, I had 6 campuses, but I had as many as 17 at one point. So just a very fulfilling job, very fulfilling to be able to help not only teachers, and students, but help principals to lead better schools. And so again, just a God-given
Wow.
here. So.
Well, let me salute to you and all the educators out there. I mean, your jobs are so important and needed. So salute to that. So you started a substitute teacher,
I did.
and then you got into teaching, and then from there you kind of worked your way up.
Growing up.
That's awesome. Well, we got a lot to talk about with that. So, um, is it are you working for were you working for like the Dallas public school system? Was it a certain type of school system you were working for?
Yeah, it's just the Dallas Independent School District. So we had, and I don't want to get this wrong, somebody can fact check or whatever, but we had over 150,000 students in our district.
Mhm.
So just it's one of the largest districts. Houston is the largest, but it's one of the largest districts. So yeah, just a privilege to serve there.
Being a teacher is so important, and most people have no clue what you guys go through. Um, what are tell me, what are some of the challenges that teachers face that you feel are important? Because it's great to talk to people like you, because we want to be certain that you know uh, that people know about this, that people have an understanding. What are some of the challenges that you feel teachers go to that people need to know?
So I would say that, in a teacher's desire to really want to help every one of their students to learn and be successful, I would say at this point, COVID comes to mind.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
believe that, as you may well know, it did present challenges because in our efforts to ensure that everyone was in front of a screen, to make sure that learning continued, sometimes it didn't always go the best way that we wanted it to go. So in that case, learning loss occurred. So I think one of the greatest challenges facing teachers now, and I would say not just in Dallas, of course, but just everywhere, is that they want to try to close that gap. So the learning loss that occurred put kids behind quite a bit. So teachers are really, really trying to make sure that kids are caught up and that they stay caught up. And so I would say that's a real challenge because some kids just weren't able to have any screen time, just because of various factors. And so districts tried to ensure that they had hotspots and other things, but just in some cases, it just didn't happen.
Wow.
So
Wow.
really trying to make sure that they help students get back on track.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention. With the new charter school systems, I would imagine that that's something that may be different from state to state or city to city. Can you talk to us about that? Is that a big thing in Dallas as it is here?
Yeah, we do have quite a few charter schools, and they're growing.
Okay.
And so sometimes it does present challenges because they're in the neighborhood where our schools are. And so what it does do, it does give parents a choice. They can decide to take their children to that school, or they can take their children to the neighborhood school. But because I was a district employee, it was personal to me because, we look at enrollment trends and patterns, and it's like, wow, where are 100 kids? Where have they gone?
Mm,
And so in a lot of cases, they chose a charter school education, which again is a parent's prerogative, but it does present a challenge to
yeah.
us, in terms of enrollment. So
So with the charter school system, it's still government money, but
yes.
is it governed? Talk to us, because a lot of people, inclusive of me, don't really understand like the difference. Like how does it work?
So, and I'll be honest with you, I don't just know just a whole lot about
Okay.
charters. From what I do know,
Right.
I believe they have their own governing body.
Yeah.
So there are some state, things that they have to comply with, of course, but they have, kind of their own governing system in place. And so
I see.
that's what differentiates them from, a public school system, because of course we're governed by the Texas Education Agency.
I got it. Do,
Have their-
do you think that the concept of charter school systems is helping? Because I hear a lot of people saying that it helps in some areas and it hurts in others, like what you're saying. It can, the charter schools have, I would imagine, more leeway to accept kids over and against traditional public schools cannot. So I hear a lot of things. Do you think it's something that's good, or do you think it's something that we just have to find the happy medium?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, because it gives parents a choice
Right.
to decide, this particular charter school's programs fit the needs of my child better.
Okay.
I think in that sense, it's a good thing, just because parents do deserve a choice.
Right.
But again, it is a challenge that public schools have to still deal with, because our enrollment is really, really key. And so it determines so much about
Yeah.
whether we keep schools open, or how many schools can we open, and what types of programs can we have in our schools. So, you know, I'm a loyal, district employee. So it's going to
I get it.
be, it's kind of personal, for me, because I've seen firsthand what happens when, a principal comes to me and says, hey, I'm not going to have what I need because my enrollment decreased, by 10%.
Yeah.
Because a school popped up in my neighborhood and everybody wants to come. Sometimes they want the bright and shiny new thing
Yep.
versus the, other thing. And so, yeah, Dr. Joe, it's presented, quite a few challenges, especially as of late, because so many are
Right.
coming on the scene.
That makes sense. I can understand that. Now, you also say that you were a reading coach, and
Yes.
that is so great. I'm sure, as you know, it's like one of the most important skills that we can teach our children. And would love for you to kind of speak to that, and specifically, um, what are some things that you feel parents can do or need to be focused on in establishing that foundation for their kids? Because I'm certain there are a lot of parents out there with young kids, and I think that'd be great to hear from a reading coach and a person who has experience as you.
Yeah. So I will say that, one of the best things I think a parent can do is to start reading to their child as early as possible.
Okay.
Um,
Mm,
if there are challenges with that, just because we do know that some people have rigorous work schedules. Some parents are working, or single parents working a lot of jobs, and sometimes it sounds good, but it may not be as realistic as it could be for someone else in a different circumstance. But
mm,
there are reading programs at Dallas. So think about Dallas, but there are reading programs at public libraries. There are things that student kids can access online. So because of this technology age, it really has kind of removed the excuses from
mhm.
people. Oh, well, I'm not able to. Okay, well, just like you allow your child to, click on a game or log onto whatever. Let them log on to a reading site, and they can have a read aloud with the computer if that's what it is, if that's what it needs to be.
Mhm.
But I think that reading early and often and exposing kids to all sorts of genres, whether it's mystery, whether it's, fiction, whatever they're interested in, find that out and allow them to have their own personal libraries. And I know that a lot of schools provide that for some families, free of charge. And there's so many nonprofit organizations who are willing to do the same. So that, that whole thing that we say in education is, the best way to be a good reader is to read.
Is to read. Yeah.
So just to have many multiple opportunities to engage with, reading is so, so important, is what I would say.
If a parent is watching this, or someone's watching it, maybe they have a grandchild and they're noticing some issues with their children reading, like maybe they feel that the child isn't reading as soon as they should or as well as they should. What do you think are some things that a parent can do that you would recommend in order to give that child that intervention that he or she may need to help expedite that learning to where they can, get to where they need to be?
Yeah, I think it's so important for the grandparent or the parent or whatever to try to have open dialogue with the teacher.
Mm,
Times the teacher has noticed, surely has noticed that there is an issue there. So the teacher is trained to, refer the parent to the proper, help. So if it's a diagnosis that needs to take place, because a lot of times it's dyslexia, there's nothing wrong. It's just that it's dyslexia, children are reading, the letters a different way and they need to have help with that. So I think that relationship between the parent, the grandparent, and the school should be airtight.
mhm.
And if they are saying, "Oh, well, call me back," call them back. And if they say, "Oh, well, we'll get back with you," go up there. Because you have your best interest. You have the child's best interest at hand, and they should as well. But a lot of times we know that people get busy or things get lost. But I think persistence is key because you want to make sure that that child has everything they need. So that relationship, so that the teacher and the school can match the student with the proper resources and the proper interventions is critical.
It's just like you're saying, communication, being present, caring is 90% of the battle. That makes sense. I want to ask you a question. How many years, you just retired, so
Mhm.
congratulations. How
Yeah.
many years in total did you work in the school system?
So yeah, 32
32 years. Now,
years.
in that 32-year span, you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of changes. And I want to specifically talk about a subject that is one that that I don't think gets enough attention, and that is autism.
Mhm.
From the vantage point of being a teacher in the Dallas public school system for 32 years, did you see the increase? Like, were you watching it as it was happening, or was it one of those things that you just woke up one day and you kind of saw that it was something that we needed to address? Well, can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so we did tend to see certain trends occur. We did tend to see our special education population grow. And not really sure a lot about, that other than maybe students were getting a diagnosis where perhaps maybe in the past they weren't. But we do know that with the cases with autism and other challenges that students have. So, yeah, I did notice, the last several years, more and more students being diagnosed with autism, and our schools having to make sure that teachers had the training to provide
Yeah.
the services for them.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to have to be a communal effort. It's going to have to be not only from the school systems, but states and municipalities and cities offering, services like you're saying to, because, like you're saying, if teachers are properly trained to connect with children who may have, certain special needs in the classroom, maybe that can be what is used to positively intervene. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can sit up here and talk to you about all day about education. That's great. I want to salute you. I want to switch some gears. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's go ahead and move to the process now. What's great is you are a 40-day turn up leader.
Yeah.
Right. Which means you came through last year, you in our Shine group. That means we started from October and we finished middle of November. So how did you hear about the 40-day turn up and what made you want to be a part?
Yeah. So, I'm so glad you asked that. My first cousin, actually, I saw her at, an unfortunate event. It was a funeral, but I noticed that her pants were like falling down. I said, "Why don't you have a belt on? What is going on with you?" And she said, "Well, she said, I'm in the 40-day turn up." I was like, "What is that?" So she was like, "Well, we'll talk about it later."
Mhm.
And we did, Dr. Joe, and she told me all about it. And I said, "Hey, I am on board." And she said, "Well, I must tell you," she said, "if you're not really ready to really get with this," she said, "I wouldn't advise that you do it, because it is very, very, it is based on, you have to be fully committed."
Yeah.
Dr. Joe is really big on that. And it's not, one of those kind of things where you go in, you go out, I'll try it for a day or two, a week or two, and then you go out. It's not that.
Right.
And I said, "Okay, I'm ready.
Mhm.
I'm ready." And
Wow.
so she let me know that it was by invitation, and that she was able to invite, someone in. And from that moment, I mean, I was looking in my email, checking every day, trying to get, the information. She was like, "Oh, you just need to register." I was like, "Okay." So when it came through,
Mhm.
paid my $10, I registered, and literally I just had my phone open, like checking for the next, I went to the Journey Life TV site and I was trying to see what do I needed to do,
Right.
what needs all the modules. I did everything I could do.
Yeah.
So I was really ready.
Well, how did you enjoy the process?
I did. I mean, I had, first of all, the best group. I had the best leader and co-leader. I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right. I know it was super leaders and team
Right.
leaders.
That's
I
fine. That's fine.
had to, yeah, of the best. And my group was the best. My partner is still the best. She and I still communicate today. And so just being able to finally find a solution to a problem I've had for so many years was just a blessing.
Right.
Uh, and I feel like God sent this program to me because I was thinking about the fact that I was not originally going to go to the funeral because I had to work,
Mm.
but I was able to get off and go to the funeral. So had I not gone to the funeral, I might not would have seen her for, I don't know, whenever, and I would have missed, the time to be able to register and get in when I did.
Right. Right.
So the whole thing has just been a blessing from the start.
What do you think about it that helped the light go off for you, or or make you get it or get out of it whatever you felt that you wanted
So
or needed?
yeah, the pre-work for me was just fire.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know, I know you say you read a lot of comments, but I know I was one of the ones. There were many who put like the little fire emoji, it- I mean, it was just like the scales fell off, during the pre-work. And I remember just feeling so educated about, wow, so this
Mm.
is why this works. So your body does need a protein, a fat, and a carb. And like, what have I been doing? And then the whole thing about the seed oils and
Yeah.
processed foods and how to eliminate those. And when you do, this is what happens. So it was kind of like you were saying, you're getting healthy so you can lose weight.
Right. Right.
So
Wow. That's a huge light bulb.
yeah.
Um, how was the transition for you post process through the holidays to the top of the year?
Okay, so this was the first time in my life where I made it through the holidays and actually did not gain.
Now
gain-
say, well, now say that again,
I did not,
say that again, Lisa. Say
I,
it again, because I think the people in the back missed you.
I did not gain weight because you sent us the videos and you said, watch this video. This is how you
Yeah,
wait during the holidays.
great.
You told us, you said, have a plate of just kind of whatever you want, just a little bit. If you want a
Right.
little mac and cheese, if you want a little bit of dressing or whatever, and then be done. That's it.
Yeah,
You're done. Enjoy your relatives. Enjoy the conversation.
yeah,
Enjoy, you know. And that's what I did. And this literally was the first time because the folks in my family, really do have good food. Just historically.
yeah. Texas, I know.
Nervous. I was, but you told us, you said, get up that morning,
Yeah,
get your workout on, make sure you drink your water, make sure you do and have your little meal, and then you're done. And
yeah.
that's
Well, that's a big deal, to have, because a lot of people are out of control during the holidays, and it's just almost like how life is for all of us. We don't know what to do. We know we shouldn't, but we can and we won't and we do. And so for you to have had success in the process and then be successful through the holidays on your own, that was a big deal for you.
it was huge.
Now, are you going through the journey? I think you're going to be in the
Yeah.
journey, correct?
Yes, sir.
You looking forward to it?
I am.
Well,
Yep.
buckle your seatbelts, Miss Lisa.
Yeah. I'm ready. You put out some teasers there, about that. So I'm really ready and excited for
Yeah.
that as well. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome. What has been the most difficult part of the transformation for you?
I'll just be honest and say that just really being consistent, which is what I struggled with before, which is why I was overweight. I would start a thing and then fall off, and start a
Yeah,
thing and fall off.
yeah,
So I still struggle with consistency, but the good part about that is I know how to kind of get back on track if I, fall off a day or so.
if you fall off, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And when
I,
I fall off, I never fall off bad,
yeah,
I
yeah,
not, I don't fall off in a bad way. So I remember when we ended the program, you said to write down, like, what are those things that made you successful? What did you do
yeah, right.
that made you successful? And then do that.
Do that, right, right, right.
90% of your meal should be eaten at home.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, so what I do, I go back through my list and say, okay, what did you do to be successful? Okay, you made sure you burned at least 500 calories. I know you said 300 to 400, but I bumped it up.
that's good. That's
And
good.
you said, and I remember you said, if it's snowing, if it's raining, you said, put on a hoodie,
Right,
umbrella, walk and do what you need to do.
right.
So just those things just resonate, in my mind or whatever, when I'm feeling not as consistent.
Right.
And then I quickly get back on track. No one's perfect, and I'm not saying that I am. I just know what to do. And so those were the tools that you gave us. You told us what to do. And so with that, you can't help but be
Yeah.
successful.
Lisa, a lot of people who are in the process now are worried because it's amazing, because they're getting to the point now to where they're halfway done, and it went by like that. And you remember when you came through, it was the same way, but it's like all the pre-work felt like it was 10 times longer. And then when we start, it just goes by lightning fast. Now, a lot of people around this time start to get concerned because they don't feel like they're going to know what to do and what not to do to maintain what they've done. Did you feel like you were ready when you graduated?
I did,
That's good.
just because I attended every single session,
Hmm.
whether it was the pre-work, whether it was, all of the modules that you did, I attended every single one of them. I set my timer on my phone to make sure that I did not miss, because I knew that that information was going to help me. And so those are the things that really help people to stay on track. It was a 40-day commitment to everything. So it wasn't just, oh, well, Dr. Joe said, eat a
Yeah,
protein, fat, and a carb, and then you go on your way.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. So like the lessons that you taught us, and then the whole spiritual
Right.
aspect, and I kept in my drawer in the kitchen, no weapon formed against me will prosper.
Hmm.
And there's no way that I could not be successful, because I knew that God had my back, first of all.
Right. Right.
Anyone who may be feeling like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do, if they have stuck with the program, and literally it was by the book, and I don't know how to do things other than that way. That whole notion, I was tired of that, like in the past, because that never worked.
Right.
Whole notion of, do a little this, what. No, I was where I needed to be. You said basically being early is on time. So we log into those sessions early, because you were there early.
Right.
It's
Right.
really like, he on there early. So I felt like I was late.
Right.
So
Let's go.
yeah, it was that. And like, that. So I feel like people will be successful if they have done the things that you have told us to do. That participants manual, mine is like dog-eared, highlighted,
Yeah.
no margin,
Yeah.
because I would go back and say, okay, let me make sure Joe said that we're supposed to do. And so I feel like if they follow that, and if they're consistent with what, the way that you've laid this transformation program, it's not a program, it's a process.
Right.
The
Right.
way that you laid this process out, they cannot help but be successful.
Well, you heard it from one of our leaders, gang, Miss Lisa Curry. Lisa, this has been great, but what I want to do, I want to ask you, I want to close things out by asking you some fun questions. Are you game?
Oh, I'm game. I'm in.
All right. I got 5 of them.
Okay.
Best vacation you've ever been on in terms of destination?
Oh, hands down, it would be my honeymoon in Hawaii.
Honeymoon in Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Mr. Curry.
Yes, sir.
Was it fun? Did you go to the Big Island? Did you go to Maui?
Waikiki.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
And
beautiful, isn't it?
it was everything that I'd ever read about or seen in movies, on pictures, but it was that on steroids. And so,
Agree.
yeah, you open up the door, the hotel room, sliding doors or whatever, and the people are, hitting that first surf on the beach, and you're just
Yeah.
able to get out there and watch. So yeah, it was just a wonderful.
Hawaii is breathtaking.
It is.
It's just breathtaking. I agree 100%. And if I had to say the downside to it is it's so expensive.
Oh my goodness.
It
Yep.
has to be the most expensive place to vacation in the country. It has to be.
It was.
But it was so worth it.
Yep. We do it again.
Yeah, I know. For all of you all who want an amazing experience, save your coin
Yes.
and go to Hawaii. I
Please.
agree. Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Oh my goodness. So we have a restaurant here called Three Forks. I'm not sure.
Three Forks.
Yeah. And
I think I've heard of Three Forks.
it's a steak restaurant, and from the the ambiance to the service, the quality of the food, and the consistency. There has not been a time that we've gone and it's been off.
Mm.
It's been consistently good, like every single time. And we've taken our son, and he's a very picky eater.
Mhm.
He likes it. So
Right.
yeah,
Is it in Dallas proper?
it's actually, they moved, but I want to say it's maybe it's Addison, or just right outside of, just not too far outside of Dallas. There's kind of a line, you cross your
Yeah.
Dallas, taking
Right.
it in Addison. I think it's in Addison.
Okay. All right. Three Forks. All right. All right. Got another one. Name us your favorite actor and actress.
Oh gosh, Dr. Joe.
Yeah, I got you. Making them think.
I would say, if I just had to narrow it down, I would say Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. That's a great one. Okay.
Yeah, he's just like the OG, OG of the actors. And actresses. Wow, that's a tough one.
We got her, ladies and gentlemen.
Do I have to?
No, okay. I say Morgan Freeman. That's good enough. We can keep going. That's good. Okay. All right. I got two more. What color most emulates your personality?
Mm.
If
So
you were a color, what
Mhm.
would you be?
Purple,
Purple. Okay.
and purple for royalty.
Okay. All right. All right.
The Bible tells us that we are a royal priesthood.
That's right. We're
So,
priests.
yep.
That's right. Okay. I like that. All right. Last question. If you could live anywhere else in the world, I'm talking about country, where would it be? Whether you've been there or not.
I would say Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
Yeah. Uh,
Wow.
what I understand, not only is it beautiful, but in terms of it just being a place where the quality of life is
Mhm.
not as suppressed, I guess, as some places just due to politics. That's why I would go there.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, Miss Lisa, you have been a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank
Thank you for joining us on today. Thank you for sharing your story with us. I wish you the very best and much love and prayers to your husband and your children. And I hope that your best days are ahead of you and not behind you. That's what we're praying for. I hope you enjoy your retirement,
thank you.
and I'm sure you are. And I look forward to us finishing the 40 Turnip Elite, and I look forward to working with you in the journey because it's going to be epic in the summertime. I can't wait. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lisa Curry. Lisa, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, Lisa.
You too, Dr. Joe.
Thank you. Be blessed. All right. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lisa Curry. What a great interview. That was awesome. I tell you, gang, it's great. I'm talking to all these people. I have absolutely no history with them. I don't know what they do. I don't know where they live. So I'm learning as you're learning. So Lisa Curry, what a great interview you've given. That was great. I want to take some time to just unpack a couple of things that she said that I believe you guys can glean from. Uh, when I asked her about her biggest struggle, she said consistency, and that's a big one. And I'm going to tell you one thing you can do that if you do this, regardless of if you're in the process, you come through the process, or you're just watching this, that will help you because I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. There's one simple thing you can do that will intrinsically help you with your consistency. And what that one thing is weighing yourself daily. Now, I know I get in arguments with people all the time. You shouldn't weigh yourself every day. I say whatever you want. I've lived this life, and I'm going to tell you why. Weighing yourself daily does two things. Number one, it gives you a sense of accountability. Okay. Number two, it lets you know instantly what you've done that you shouldn't and what you've done that you should. So that means it gives you something to bounce how you're living in order to make the adjustments. It's almost like the Bible, the Word of God. The Word of God is powerful because you read it, and not only do you seek understanding, but application. Be not hearers of the words of the word, but doers. So I've got to understand what I'm reading, but I also have to take what I'm reading and ask myself, how do I measure up to this principle of forgiveness, or to this principle of being humble, or to this principle of being a good husband, a good wife, a good person? You see, you're not just reading it, but you're applying it. You're measuring yourself against it. The scale is very, very similar. It's not just what the scale says, but it's always getting that feedback so you can make those adjustments. Now, the people who gain weight are people who don't weigh themselves daily. There's something powerful about getting on the scale And if you see that number going up more than one day, it's powerful, because what it does is it makes you say, oh, you know, let me get back on it. It took me years to figure this out. This is the reason why I teach y'all that who finish, and I will teach y'all that who will finish. You cannot be consistent in weight loss or in living a healthy life without weighing yourself daily, because what's going to happen is you'll start to fall away from the habits that got you to where you wanted to be. It's next to impossible to gain weight at days at a time, and you're looking at the scale. And what a lot of people do is a lot of folks will cower out of weighing themselves because they don't want to face the reality of what they've done. How many of y'all have ever, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, and that's fine, but how many people have ever gone out or deviated from your diet? You ate some chicken wings, lemon pepper chicken wings, you ate some fries, you know, you had 2 pina coladas, you know, you had some key lime pie, you know, you ate some chips. I mean, you just fell off. And then it was tasting so good, and then the moment you got through chewing, that's when guilt sunk in. You're like, man, I know I shouldn't have done. I didn't ate the whole pie. I didn't even eat just one slice. I ate the whole pie. You know, you start feeling guilty, and then the next day you like, I ain't getting on the scale. We've all done this. The reason why you don't want to get on the scale is because you don't want to face the reality of what you've done, but that's life. How many people have done things in life and didn't want to accept your responsibility? How many folk out there have wronged people and didn't want to accept your responsibility to say, I'm sorry? How many men have laid down with women and had fun and pleasure, but didn't want to accept the responsibility of raising the child? How many of us have made choices but didn't want to deal with the consequences? I know that sounds like it's deep, but it's because it is. Whenever you fall off post-process, hopefully y'all are focused enough to this not even be a problem now who are in it. But if you get to the point to where months from now, years from now, whenever you fall off, get your behind up on that scale and face it. You need to see what you've done, because facing it is going to help you deal with it and return to the place and space that you need to be and that you want to be. So consistency cannot be sustained without weighing yourself on a day-to-day basis. It's just real talk. The only time I don't weigh myself is when I'm on vacation. That's because I just don't bring my scale with me. I don't bring my scale with me. And I don't bring my scale because when I go on vacation, I've finally gotten to the point. Let me just tell you something about me, being that we've been transparent. A lot of the things that Lisa talked about in her amazing interview is she was saying, this is the first time that she said this is the first time that she went through a holiday season and didn't gain weight. That's huge. And one of the reasons why we have so many health issues and problems with this is because we have so many unhealthy relationships with food. One of the things that Lisa remembered was when I was teaching about the holiday support video that I did, I was telling people, don't allow the food on the holiday to be what you most look forward to. Let it be the memories with your family. And the point is, you can make all the memories with your family, your mama, your daddy, your children, your husband, your wife, your extended family, without degrading your health and overeating, without the guilt of going into the new year 10 pounds up, 5 pounds up, 15 pounds up. The point is, you don't have to let overindulgence of food to be normalcy for holidays. You don't. You decide that. Now, I'm backing up to what Lisa said in that conversation. I want to make that point, but I'm getting to a point where I was talking about when I said I don't weigh myself on vacation. Back in the day when I lost my weight, I got down to 130 pounds. Even though I lost the weight, when I would go on vacation, I would lose my mind. I was 130 pounds lighter. And when we would go on vacation, I would lose my mind. I'd be eating stuff in the airport, on the plane. I'd be eating, buffet. I would lose my mind. Even after I lost the weight. This is where it gets you. This is why people gain weight back, because they are not in tune with the spiritual nuances that push us to places that we don't want to be in. And I had to realize this is a part of me that is underdeveloped in my progress, in my process. I had to realize I was still immature. It's like, I can adhere to what I want to adhere to when I'm at home, but when I go out of town, I lose my mind. That's like me being a good person, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I speak to people and I'm nice. But when I go out of town, I'm drinking and I'm drunk, or I'm high, or I'm rude. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. I had to learn that my lifestyle is not confined to a logistical location. That was a spiritual issue that I had not yet addressed. So when I was able to realize what I was doing, and when I was able to be frustrated when I would come back from vacation, having gained tons of weight, and I'm like, here I am, we'd be gone, I remember, I'm gonna say it, I don't mind. I remember we went to Turkey. I gained 28 pounds in a week. I was sick. I felt, oh my God, I felt such a failure. I couldn't believe it. I never will forget that. When I got back and I got on the scale and I looked at that scale and I said, I can't believe this. And I'm being completely transparent with you all. I couldn't believe it. 28 pounds. And I promised myself then, I remember I said, I'll never do this again. And the thing about it is, it took me weeks to get back. Of course, a lot of that's water weight, salt, things of that nature. But the point I'm making is, it took me so long to get back. But I told myself, I don't want that. I don't want that feeling. I want to be able to go on vacation and not do that. And I finally got to the point where I have a plan that works. I know what to do. Yeah, I go out of town. I have fun. Yeah, I get me a couple of old fashions. I'm keeping it a buck. I may eat some things I wouldn't normally eat. But, there are things, I do a lot of fasting when I'm on vacation. I may do one meal, just dinner, or I may do a breakfast and then I'll skip lunch. Or I may increase my caloric burn. I never eat dessert when we're on vacation. I do not do that. I don't eat bread. So what I'm saying is this. Yeah, I know I may come back 6-7 pounds larger, but I can get that off in a matter of days when I get back. The point that I'm trying to make is, when you're coming through this particular process, you have to evolve as a person, just like you evolve as a man, as a woman. When you look at your relationships and you see things that you've done that you shouldn't have done. You had to evolve. It's the same way. And the thing about it is, Deborah and Karen and Leslie and Jay and Percy and LaShondra and Karen, we're all going to have different places as it relates to this that we're going to struggle with. Some of y'all are going to struggle because you just like to eat. Food is your crutch. It's your drug. Some of you are going to struggle because you don't like working out. Some of you are going to struggle because you like to turn up too often. You like to party too much. And when you party, you're doing your thing. Some of you are going to be too easily swayed by your surroundings. When you see other people eat, you're going to want to eat. I don't know what your thing is. The first thing that you have to understand is it's okay. None of us are perfect. But the way what I am and how I teach is different is I'm letting you know you're going to have to get ready for that. We have two beautiful children. God has blessed us with two daughters, Skylar and Zion. Skylar is 6, Zion is 4. They both got different things. They both have different things that we see in them as children that we're going to have to guide them. And you as parents know what I'm talking about. Your children have different needs. Some of your kids, you didn't have to worry about what they were going to do with drugs when you weren't there or alcohol. But some of your children may be a little hot in the pants and you had to watch that. Y'all parents know what I'm talking about. And it's the same way with us. You're going to have things within you that's going to be pulling you away from the life you're trying to live. But you have to be consistent, and you got to continuously be real with yourself. And you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? That ain't me. That's not what I want to do. It's not the life that I want. When I went to Turkey and I gained all that weight and I came back, I made a promise. I'll never do that again. I'm never going to do that. And that's exactly what I did. And the beauty now is I can go on vacation, enjoy myself with my family, with my wife, with our children, create memories, come back home, not be a blimp, and get right back on it, and didn't miss a beat. And as a matter of fact, when I do it like that, it's more memorable because I don't bring the weight of the guilt of why did I eat all this food that messes up the precious memories that are made. Because life goes by quickly. When I went to that funeral service on yesterday, salute to Pastor Roderick Holland and his late wife, Elder Cheryl Holland. May she rest in peace. To their son, Deacon Tim Holland. This woman was in her early 60s. You never know. The only thing that we have that can't be robbed by death are memories. That's it. So when I learned, I got to work on this. I have to evolve myself as a person. I don't have to have that. I've mastered it in Atlanta. Y'all see what I'm saying? I mastered it in Atlanta. That's why you find a lot of folk who gain the weight back, because they haven't addressed the demons, the spirits. They haven't studied themselves long enough to be able to see this is why I do this. Life is nothing but a struggle. It's always something pulling you away from where you want to be. But through will, dedication, and consistency, you can get there. So, I know we're halfway through the process. We got a lot more to do. I know that. But by the end of the process, everything you need to know from a nutritional, theoretical vantage point, you'll have what you need to do what needs to be done. But the rest has to be, you have to live and learn. You got to turn and burn. You're going to have to make some mistakes. You're going to have to be discontent. But you never give up. You always come back until you get to where you want to be. Okay? Gang, this has been a great conversation. Salute to Lisa. Lisa, again, thank you for being my special guest on this evening. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. I know I did. On tomorrow morning, Monday, gang, to all of my participants in the 40-day turnout, all my leaders, we're going to be live in the morning. I'll let you know when to expect me in the morning. We're going to go over our statistical review and performance analysis to let you know how you did last week, how you performed. All right, gang? We'll have more information about the halfway point, what we're going to do, things of that nature. Love you guys. Have a great evening. For those of you want more information about the 40-day turn up, about the Journey 3.0 Plus process, about me, what it is that we do, I do, follow us on all social media handles, platforms, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. We all have the same handle, Journey Life TV, JOURNEY LIFE TV, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Till next time, be well, be blessed, have a great Holy Week, and I'll see you, God willing, in the morning. Peace.